a man who really don't need any introduction. We all know him. We all, watched him play, watched him help turn around Indiana basketball. He averaged 16.7 rebounds for his career. And we have the big, handsome Cody Zeller, man. What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, it's the first time in a long time I got a chance to talk to you. I remember I came back. I don't know if you were even there when I came back, but it's been a while. So how things going for you nowadays, man?
Things are good. Things are good. I'm in Charlotte right now. Still trying to stay in shape. I spent 8 years here in Charlotte. Last year with the Trailblazers, and I went to training camp with the Utah Jazz. And I'm not with anyone right now, but just trying to stay in shape. And it's actually kind of nice to have the extra, flexibility that I've never had. Uh,
Yeah.
we went home for Thanksgiving. I'm going to try to do the same for Christmas. So trying to find some good parts in it. But if a team calls, I'll be in shape and ready to go. But otherwise, 9 years is a good career, and I beat up my body. Of My style of play is probably not the best for a long career, just because
Right.
flying around the court a lot of times I'm undersized. So fortunately, I've had 8 surgeries in 9 years. So I think that plays a little bit into why I'm not with the team right now, just because I can't stay healthy. So
Mhm.
all in all, I'm blessed. It's I'm good whichever way my career goes from here,
Mhm.
and it's been a fun ride.
I want to get into that later, man, because I know still got a lot left in the tank, man. I've seen these games on TV, so I know there's a spot for you on preferably a playoff team for me, because
That'd
I
be
want
nice.
that'd be nice. But I want to first I want to know where does the name the Big Handsome come from, man? That's what I want to know.
I think that came from some people in college. I had nothing to do with it. I don't always claim it.
Right?
Funny, I was in like I said, I spent 8 years here in Charlotte, and I thought I kind of left the name in college. Nobody really knew me
Mhm.
here in Charlotte. They didn't know the college version of me, and it was probably till maybe my sixth or seventh year in the league. We went and played in Indiana, and one of my teammates found out that was my college nickname and brought it up.
Oh,
So
that's all right.
so they ran with it from there. But it could
Hey,
be a lot worse, though. It could be a
it
lot
seems
worse.
one of them things that fits though. It's like I don't know why, it's just unexplainable. It's like, hey, that do fit him, big,
There you
big
go.
handsome.
There
That's
you go.
awesome, man. I love nicknames, man. I actually been trying to get in touch with you probably for about 5 years. Probably didn't realize I'm emailing the wrong account.
Oh yeah.
The wrong Twitter account because there's some dude
That's funny.
impersonating you. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And doing a great job at it too, by the add.
Yeah.
It seems to have the same personality. I don't know. But
Oh,
I sure was like, man, Cody, man, you get back to me. And it wasn't, and then he finally reached out. I was like, no, I'm not really Cody.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So anyway, man, I want to talk to me about, man, where you from, and what was it like growing up where you from, and in a Zeller household.
Yeah, I grew up in Washington, Indiana, which is about an hour south of Bloomington, a town of 12,000. I'm the youngest of three, so we're each 3 years apart. Luke is 6 years older. Tyler's 3 years older, and
Yeah,
all three of us 7 feet tall. Played in the NBA.
yeah.
So basketball gets a lot of the attention, but we were competitive in everything that we did. We were making games up all, in the living room, outside, pizza eating contests, everything turned into competition. So,
Right, yeah, yeah.
and that's still how we are today. But I feel very blessed to be able to grow up, a lot of the stuff that I went through, my brothers went through a few years before me. So I definitely
Right.
watched, whether it was, college recruiting or, making the jump from college to the NBA or life stuff, getting married, everything else. I try to, take notes from them. So we're a close family. But back to where I grew up in a town of 12,000. Our high school gym, I always say, holds 7,000, and we would sell it out on Friday and Saturday night. So it was definitely fun growing up in a small town like that where they love basketball, and obviously went from there to IU, where similar love for basketball and similar tradition. So it kind of prepared me for playing on a big stage. So
Absolutely.
yeah, good old Washington, Indiana.
Yeah, shout out Washington, Indiana. I heard a lot about it when I was in school. Your parents, man, talk about your parents. And what I like to ask when we talk about parents is like, what qualities did you get from each parent, and how did it help you when you as become the competitive and basketball player that you became?
Good question. I think my dad grew up, or my dad when I was growing up, my dad worked at Purdue Farms, and he was the plant manager. And I he was a great dad, a great role model for me. But he was a hard worker. He was gone, 5 or 6 in the morning. We'd go to school. Mom would get us off to school. We'd come home. We'd play for a few hours, and he'd be back by 5 or 6 in the evening. And he always had time for us in the evening, but we only got a couple hours with him. And I think just the work ethic that I got to see and witness from him, hopefully I'm able to take some of that from dad.
Yep.
And then my mom is just as competitive as all of us. She grew up as an athlete as well. We always joke she's probably the best athlete in the family. She played baseball, or played softball and basketball in college, a small Division III school in Iowa. And but super competitive. So we'd come in with a bloody knee or whatever it was from playing outside, and mom would tell us to fix it up and get back out there. So
Yeah.
I think the competitiveness came from both my parents, but especially my mom. So I feel very blessed just to grow up in a loving household with two parents. And I feel very blessed to have two great parents.
Absolutely. We can see where their qualities come from. So you just got competition from both sides, work
That's
ethic,
it.
competition, and that's why we got this what we have today. So your brothers, you talked about your brothers just briefly a little bit, man, and you kind of touched on something. Is there anything that you did before them? Like, because I know, do they have bragging rights with the draft? What did you do before them? Because I know they had to be not disappointing, but a drag to always be the last to do something, get married, get a girlfriend, get to
That's
college,
it.
play in college, go to the frat, whatever. Was there
Yeah.
anything before them?
That's a great question. I don't know. There was a couple things that I tried to do better than they did.
Right.
We
Yeah,
would
yeah.
even in high school. Luke won one state championship. I won two, and
Ooh, there you go.
Tyler won two, and I won three. So
Oh,
we kind of joke about that.
hey.
I got drafted higher. A couple things that I've been fortunate enough to do, but they have their own things that they hang their hat on as well. So it goes both ways.
Just love, man, to have that kind of success and competition in the family.
Sure.
I'm
For
definitely
sure.
gonna send this video to Luke. Me and Luke connect on LinkedIn, so I'm
Oh
definitely
yeah.
gonna, yeah.
I
He
love it.
reached out randomly one day. I didn't even know he knew me, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, I feel like family." I see the Zeller name, so I'm gonna
That's it.
connect. So I'm gonna show him this video.
That's it.
So,
He's all
high
over
school,
LinkedIn.
right. High school days, man. You were a phenomenal high school player, man. Did a lot of stuff I didn't do. Win high school championship. You were a McDonald's All American. You know what I mean? So take us through what was the moment in high school that you realized that, oh, you had a chance to really, get something out of this game of basketball, education, and a professional career?
Yeah, it's I was fortunate to have a good high school career. One of my favorite years of my whole basketball career was my freshman year, was Tyler's senior year.
Okay.
And I mean, he
Oh,
was averaging, 35 a game, and all of our roles were just to pass in the ball and get out of the way. But
right.
that was really my first time like playing on a big stage where I was kind of the seventh or eighth man. So I would have to come in and just take care of the ball, play defense, play my role. Didn't score a whole lot, but and we ended up winning the state championship that year. But that was a good learning lesson for me, just to kind of play my role and not the star
Oh,
player.
mhm.
Uh, on a big stage where we're playing in big games in the tournament. I think that kind of prepared me for more success later on in my career. But really, um, you said a couple of the accolades that I had in high school, but both my brothers had similar accolades when they were in high
Right.
school,
Mhm.
went to college, went all 4 years of college. And so that's really what I imagine myself doing as well. I know a lot of McDonald's All Americans, and those guys will leave early for the draft, but it really didn't even cross my mind till really partway through my freshman year of college that I even had the chance to leave early for the draft. So when I made the decision to go to Indiana, I was planning on being there all 4 years, and
Right. Yeah.
loving campus, and that was a big reason why I came back for my sophomore year, just because I didn't feel like I had gotten the full college experience out of it.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's I don't know if, back to your original question, I don't know if it really hit me that I could do this for a living until probably partway through my freshman year of college.
Okay. Dang, so
So yeah, it was a little bit later.
yeah. Awesome, man. You committed to Indiana, but nobody's really heard about the process of you getting recruited to Indiana. Was Indiana the place where you always wanted to go? I know you had UNC, you had Butler, but who was the first to reach out to you from to recruit you at Indiana? Were you excited about the call, and what went into that decision to pick IU over UNC, Butler, and those others?
Yeah, it's like I said, I watched both my brothers kind of go through the recruiting process before me, so I had a little bit of a head start on knowing different. I'd been to a lot of campuses. I'd heard secondhand a lot of stories about different coaches, good and bad. So I had a little bit of the layout of the land, but unfortunately, the reason why Luke and Tyler didn't go to Indiana was there was so much chaos. It was
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
Mike Davis recruited Luke, Kelvin Sampson recruited Tyler, and they had all the violations going on just as Tyler is getting ready to make his decision. So honestly, it wasn't in the best setting. It was right around the corner, and I grew up, watching guys like you when I was little, and loved the tradition. I had been to some games, but it wasn't in the best standing until it was really once Coach Crean got there and his assistants, Tim Buckley, some of those guys that started recruiting me and started really the first thing they had to kind of show is that they kind of had it back on stable ground and was heading the right direction. So
I mean,
that was the biggest thing. But yeah.
you committed at a time where it still wasn't there. So you had to have a forethought, like, all right, I'm the missing piece. Did you think about that? When you made that decision, because I know a lot of players wouldn't do that. An average team, 15, whatever their record was, 500 level. And because when you came, you helped turn it around. You guys won 15 more games, the biggest turnaround that year. So did you have a feeling like this was a challenge to you to go in there and help get this thing right, right back to the championship level?
I honestly didn't know how good we would be. Just adding me.
Right.
I knew that I could bring a lot to the team. And the biggest thing was I sat in a couple of the practices and I got around some of the guys and saw the work ethic and, they were really building something. So, you could see, Vic and Will Shee and those guys staying after practice, and the competitiveness in their practices was incredible through the roof. And I knew that I wanted to play right away. And I knew that was an opportunity for me at Indiana. And so, yeah, I don't think that I was like, well, if I go to that team, we're going to be number one. Yeah. I just thought, I could help the team. I love the way they work. I love the guys, love being around the group of guys that were there. And so, yeah, that really helped make my decision.
And I'm telling you what, I remember there's only two players that I kind of wish that I played with after I graduated and I began to watch, and it was Jared Jeffries was one of them.
Yeah.
And because his versatility, and I'm just like, damn, I wish I could play something like that.
He's another one that's fun to watch growing up. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Those teams were unbelievable, like incredible video game teams. That's my video game.
There you go.
Would not miss with the 02 championship team. But then the second player was you, man. I mean, as coaches and as players, we see a guy who just, like, even talking to you now, it's like, is this guy really that humble? Like, I mean, there has to be some arrogance. There has to be some arrogance under there somewhere, man, because all you do is win wherever you go. And it's crazy because it sounds like you're not even focused on that part of it, even though you're focused on that. You're not like, I got to win. Most guys will come in, man, I want to win a championship. I have to win. I have to win. You haven't even mentioned that. You never mentioned that. But in the end, that's all you do, and that's a testament to you and your presence, man. So it's incredible sitting here listening to you because I'm thinking when I talk to you, I'm like, man, this dude, he's all about winning. It's win or bust, but the competitive fire is in there. But you never mention it, but yet you Big Ten champion, high school 3 times champion. I mean, you just win over and over again. How is that? Like, is this an act? Are we acting right now? Or are you just you really like just a humble, competitive person, man?
I appreciate that. Yeah, like you said, I try to be humble. I play with so many good teammates those couple of years, and we said, especially going into my sophomore year, it was me, Vic, Jordy. We had so many good players, but we all, as a group, were saying, we kept reminding ourselves, if we win, everyone's going to get individually what they want. Absolutely. And that's what every team wants. So NBA teams, even after basketball, businesses, everyone wants guys who will win and can be a part of a successful team. So that really helped kind of drive us, between my freshman year into my sophomore year, that one guy wasn't going to get too far ahead or get too big of a head. It was all about the team, and all of us rallied around each other. So I'm so fortunate to be a part of that. It was such a fun year, a fun couple of years in Bloomington.
I know. I remember when I realized Indiana basketball was changing for the better. Was your Midnight Madness that year? Where I think Vic was singing, and performing. I was like, Bob Knight is flipping over in his. I'm not joking. I was like,
but it changed a little bit.
It was good though. I was like, dang, it was jealous, kind of jealousy, because it was military style approach. Focus when I played. It was like, then I'm like, Vic out here singing, somebody else doing flips over. I'm like, I don't know what you did that night, but
we had some fun, man.
I knew it changed for the better, man. I was excited for you guys. We're halfway through, man. I do a segment called the Hoosier 10. Just going to ask you 10 questions that Indiana fans will want to know that maybe only you would know from your Indiana experience, man. So number one, what dorm or apartment complex did you stay in on campus?
I lived in Briscoe. They just remodeled it, so it was really nice. But yeah, Briscoe.
Hey, I was 9th floor Briscoe. No air. But,
so it was a little nicer when I got there. Yeah.
Shout out Disco Briscoe, man. Who was your roommate?
My roommates were Austin Etherington and Remy Abel.
Remy Abel. Okay.
All three of us freshmen. Yeah. Remy transferred, ended up having a good career at Xavier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you pushed both of your roommates out, huh?
They both left after I was gone, so we had some good times when I was there.
There's competitive fire.
We all left as a group.
I was just kidding. Shout out Austin and Remy, man. Had good careers. Favorite food spot in Bloomington during the time you were playing?
Favorite food spot. I love Buffalo's. I still go back and see Ed, and good burger, good wings. So yeah, I love Buffalo's.
That's where I stop every time I go back. Well, shout out Buffalo's. Most fun, the most fun game you played in?
I probably have to say the Kentucky game, the Watt shot. I mean, that's
I asked that question.
Yeah, that's a tough one. The second one to have two answers, winning at Michigan to win the Big Ten championship. Yeah, at the end of the season.
That's the one I thought you was gonna say.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah, a couple good ones.
We lived that all week this week. I think they're doing. What would you think your best individual performance was, where you was just clicking on all cylinders?
Probably that Michigan game. It was that was a fun game just to end the season, playing on a big stage. That's what I signed up for when I went to Indiana. You want to play on a big stage, and that was it. One game for the Big Ten, and I was fortunate to play well that night.
Absolutely, man. Who's your favorite teammate?
Favorite teammate? Oh, that's a tough one because I had so many good teammates.
Name.
Obviously, Vic was the life of the party, always singing, dancing. Probably Jordan Hulls, he was my roommate on the road, so we got to be really close. And obviously, Austin is one of my roommates my freshman year, so still some of my closest friends to this day. So lifelong friends.
Okay. You remember your favorite? He was only there 2 years, but you remember your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher. I did have some good teachers. I went through the Kelly School, so I had a lot of teachers, but a lot of hard ones.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of them that would make the list of teachers that I didn't like because they were so hard. They
Right,
were they
right,
were
right.
fair
No,
but
you don't
hard.
want to do that.
So
Don't want
yeah, yeah. Let's
to say
let's
that
not
about.
let's not go through that list.
And we know that coming off the road and got to have a project dude.
That's
Those,
it.
hey, no, you're not my favorite teacher. Let me see. A most memorable Tom Crean moment.
Oh man, there's been so many.
Yeah,
Oh man, I think yeah, man. We had some tough practices. We'd have some long 3 or 4 hour practices. One of my favorites was, it was so unlike him. After that Kentucky game, once we finally got back to the locker room, um, obviously all of us were still pretty excited and dancing and having a good time. And Coach Green came in. I thought he was going to kind of calm everyone down and give us a message, but he jumped right in the middle and started dancing, and it was the worst dancing I've ever seen in my life.
I can see
But it was also just to fit that night just perfectly, to be able to celebrate with us. It was just such a big win for all of us. So
no, that's
that's kind of a burn in my brain is him dancing after the Kentucky game
somebody got that film. We got to dig that up. We got to dig
somewhere.
somewhere. It'll come out on y'all documentary.
Yeah, that's it.
And I mean, this is outside of the Hoosier 10. What is a court storming like, man? I ain't we Coach Knight ain't never let that happen. So you know what I mean? Like, what is a court storming? Are you guys fearful like some crazy, because weird stuff could happen. Must throw you up, step on you, pile on you, suffocate.
Yeah.
Like, how did that feel, man, to be a part of a court storming?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It happened so fast, like obviously from the time the ball went through the Kentucky game there, the ball went through the net to like 10,000 fans on the court was felt like within seconds. So there
Right.
really wasn't much time to think. And luckily, I'm bigger and taller than most of the students there, so I felt no claustrophobia or anything. So
Good stuff.
unfortunately, I was a part of a couple on the wrong ends of a couple court stories.
Oh no, yeah.
We got upset at Nebraska. We got upset at Minnesota, and we were number one that year. So about any loss that we had on the road was
Yeah.
considered a court
Right.
story. So
Hey, I was at
uh,
the didn't Illinois do it too?
Illinois, yeah, Illinois as
I
well.
was at
Yeah,
that game. I was at
Illinois.
that game. Uh,
So yeah, so those hurt a little extra because not only did you lose and you're upset, but now you got a bunch of drunk fans shouting in your face. So
you walk
uh,
off elbowing people. Watch
that's
out.
it. That's it. Yeah, get off this court, man.
That's good stuff.
So
And
anyway,
final question for the Hoosier 10, man. What do you miss most about being a student at Indiana University?
man, I just love being a student. It was the classes were tough at Kelly, but it was fun, being a college kid, going and staying in the dorms and eating at Gresh, going to classes, sitting next to, just every other student. I like being a pretty normal guy. So it was fun for me to just be a regular student. And yeah, college campus was so much fun being a college kid. I miss those days of simple living.
Yeah, I know, man. I tell people all the time. I played NBA, went overseas, great countries, but my best time was at Indiana University,
That's
man. I would try to do it over again, and even make it even more fun than it was, man. It was incredible.
it.
See
Yeah.
people understand. So your senior year, you come. I mean, I'm sorry, your sophomore year, you come back. You take that gamble, it's not always. I know people were telling you, go to the league, take the money. You don't take me as a guy that cares about money, but you want to take that opportunity. But, you come back, you guys make a Big Ten title run, you win outright Big Ten title. What was special about that team?
I think like I was talking earlier, we had so many weapons, and it was one of the best teams that I've been on. We were always, we loved being around each other, not just on the court, but we take the party from the court right to Marty's office in the academic center to everything else, meals together. So we genuinely love being around each other. And I think that showed up on the court. That it didn't matter, if they try to load up on me, Jordy, Vic, Christian, we got so many shooters on the outside, and vice versa. They opened up so much for me. We played unselfishly. We played hard every night, and it was fun for us. I think the fans enjoyed watching, and we won a lot of games. So it was the best combination of all those.
What was it like? You kind of touched on it a little bit. What was it like playing for Tom Crean?
He was great. He was really, really hard on all of us, especially I think Vic and I. And I think he made a conscious effort to be the hardest on the best players on the team. And so it was good for me. It was even into the NBA and life in general. I know I can get through anything because he's put me through a lot. But it was good for me. It was good for me.
Okay, you decide to, after that championship season, you guys make the NCAA tournament, make a big run, but you decide to go into the NCAA, I mean the NBA draft. What I know is, I could tell you really enjoyed your college experience. Was that a difficult decision to leave those guys behind and go ahead and pursue your dream of playing in the NBA?
Yeah, it was tough to leave Bloomington. I think the toughest decision was probably after my freshman year. Like you said, it was an opportunity to be a lottery pick and something I've dreamed of my whole life. But I made the commitment to come back for my sophomore year. I knew we'd have a good team. I would hope that I could still improve while I was in college and be drafted in my sophomore year, and stay healthy, which I was fortunate to be able to do. But after my sophomore year, I kind of decided, all right, I'll come back for one more year. I'll come back for my sophomore year. Obviously hadn't said that publicly, but in the back of my mind, I was going through it, knowing this would probably be my last year. And a lot of those guys, Vic and I left the same year, but Christian, Jordy, Derek Elston, a lot of those guys are seniors as well. So, so it was kind of an easy decision after my sophomore year, to be able to go to the NBA. It was fun.
Did you have any hindsight being 2020? You think you made the right decision?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. To be the number 4 pick and start my career here in Charlotte was great. A couple good years in Indiana, and I was fortunate enough to be able to finish my degree as well. Since I only went 2 years, but I was closer to finishing. I think I had 35-ish credits left, so I was able to finish online. So yeah, it was kind of the best of all worlds.
Man, it definitely was. Mike Woodson is back. Jordy Holes is back. I saw you went back. That's what caught my attention. You went back for the UNC game, man. What was that experience? Yep. I know you've been, donating to the program, in the past, but y'all, you're reconnecting and it's weird because we only players know as you start getting older, you realize your professional career is starting to, then you start reconnecting. It's like that's it looks like to me that's the stage that you're at, because that pro stuff goes, you just for about 5-6 years you don't know what the hell's going on at your school, because you're establishing yourself, man. You're getting your homes, your businesses, your family, and you ain't thinking about. But about that 9th, 10th year, you're like, oh shit, I was kind of a big deal back at IU. Let me go. Let me see what the hell's going on, man, and not just donate. Let me go be present. What was why did you decide to go back for the UNC game, and what was it like reconnecting with some of the guys?
Yeah, like you said, it's tough during the NBA season just because we play so many games to even watch on TV. But I was fortunate to go back last year to the Wisconsin game, and then this year obviously for the Carolina game. But like I was saying right when we started off, was it's kind of nice to have the extra flexibility, because I've always wanted to go back to a game, but I've never had the chance to, just because of the NBA schedule is so chaotic. But it was definitely fun, and that was a good game to go to, for one, because the atmosphere was so fun. It was a good win, but also there were so many alumni back. So obviously a lot of my old teammates, but then Jared Jeffries and some guys that I grew up watching, and I sat down during the right before tip off, and I sat down and Ted Kitchell introduced himself, and he said you don't know who I am, but I'm Ted Kitchell. I said I know exactly who you are. So man,
Right, right.
it was a little bit before my time, but
Yep.
legends like that won championships in Indiana, and it's so fun to be able to kind of see some of those guys. And I think it's a huge credit to Coach Woodson for kind of making all of us alumni feel comfortable that we can go back and connect with different former players, and it's definitely fun cheering for the current players as well. I think Coach Woodson has it headed in the right direction, and we had taken a couple losses recently, but I think the team's going to have a good year, so it's fun to cheer for him.
Yeah, definitely, man. Trace Jackson Davis, man, and you have kind of similar games to me. You guys play, but your motor is high energy. You don't need the basketball to score. You still get points based off your energy, offensive rebound, and doing the little things, man. And he's on the verge of doing some special things at Indiana. Were you able to connect with him and speak some life into him a little bit?
Yeah, and I enjoy going back to Bloomington in the summers as well. My
Okay.
Luke, my oldest brother, still lives there.
Oh,
So I go and stay with Luke. So I've been around the team a handful of times in the summers. And so yeah, I've been around Trace Jackson Davis and some of those guys. It's fun to see. I was able to go see a couple of their summer workouts. So that's it's fun to see kind of behind the scenes stuff. I like the Hutchefino kid. I think he's going to be really good. I don't know how long he's going to be in Indiana because I know the NBA is going to want him bad. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, so many good role players. Renu and Race is playing well. So yeah, it's a fun team to cheer for, and even more special to be able to kind of get to know them off the court as well.
Definitely, man. That NCAA, the game against Arizona seemed like an NCAA tournament game. The intensity, the atmosphere, man. Did you get a chance to check that one out?
Yeah, and it's a huge credit to Coach Woodson for scheduling that game. They could have
Absolutely.
easily scheduled some nobody and won by 40 at home.
Mhm.
But that game is going to pay dividends once it comes tournament time. They've been in some big games. They played in good atmospheres, neutral site, but on the road. So yeah, that was a tough loss, but it's going to pay off down the road.
Definitely, man. So yeah, finally, man, you're in Charlotte, man, and you've been there. I think you played there a few years. Yeah, you played with, for the GOAT, man. What was your first opportunity meeting Michael Jordan? Man, and did you get a chance to play in some of those one-on-one games with him?
It's always fun having him around. He'd come in for like a week or so at a time, and see two or three games, maybe a few times during the year. So we'd see him around. He would come to kind of come to shoot around, kind of be in the training over the locker room, and then he'd sit right at the end of the bench. He'd be cussing out the refs and everything else. So anytime that you get even a few minutes with him, is really special. So yeah, it was definitely fun playing for him. Occasionally, it wasn't always good if he was in town. Sometimes he'd fly in just because we were on a losing streak and
Right.
he wanted to watch some film with us and stuff. So sometimes it wasn't
Oh,
always
you don't want
that.
that.
He still has the competitive edge. So
Right, yeah.
but yeah, he doesn't. I've never seen him play one on one. I don't think he
Okay.
plays much anymore. But every once in a while, he'll pick up the ball and just kind of shoot around. So
That's
pretty cool
amazing.
just to see him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have my plenty stories with Mike. Mike, we was in Chicago at the same time, and he
Yep.
was trained with them when he was coming back to play for the Wizards, and it was just. I tell people all the time. I said it's probably my most fun memory of the NBA, and it wasn't even in the NBA because it was just he
Yeah.
was there. He brought all these NBA guys, and he was just talking so much trash, man, and it was just so he loves Indiana guys. I don't know what it is. He loves to put them on his team in the runs. Feel like we
Yeah.
know how to play, you know what I mean? So I was always wondered if he ever, had one of those sessions where I don't know if Coach Mike Davis used to do this all the time. Always, I would pick a day and just run through guys one on one, just the old school one on one, no fouls type thing. You know what I
Oh
mean? So
yeah.
I could see Jordan doing that kind of stuff. But
Oh
man,
yeah. Oh yeah, that's
Well,
cool.
hey, man, I want to thank you for taking the time and joining the House of Hoosier podcast, man. The true legend, you were the cornerstone and the turning point of to get Indiana basketball back on point. Everybody knows that, and we appreciate you being humble about it. The stuff that you're seeing now, you help, reestablish that during a time where it wasn't cool to go to Indiana. So we appreciate that, man, and you can put that in your book, man. We thank you for that.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And
Yeah.
one of these days, I'm not as smart as you to have my own podcast, but man, I got so many questions to ask you as well. I grew up watching you play,
Yes,
and
sir.
I know you got a lot of stories from playing overseas and in the NBA. So
Call me, man.
one of these days when I got my own podcast, I'll flip the script and interview you. So thanks
Absolutely.
for having me on, man.
I'll be happy to be on the Big Handsome podcast, man. I can't wait. Well, thank you, man, once again, man. This is Cody Zeller, true Indiana basketball legend, and we are our House of Hoosier podcast.